Good evening. It is Thursday, 7 p.m. My name is Eamon Hotep, and welcome to Urban Facts. We have the privilege of bringing on one of Philadelphia's own authors. Hold on, let me bring up this information here. I swear I need somebody else to do this besides me. I swear I do. But anyway, let me bring this up here. So here, let's see, Mr. Omar Tyree. If you guys are a native from Philadelphia, he is the guy on 52nd and Market, right across from the Patti LaBelle Memorial and mural, and he's on the other column. Predominant figure in Philadelphia. He has famous books. One of his most famous tracks is Fly Girl. We're going to show you a video Mr. Tyree produced. He's definitely rooted in Philadelphia. And let's just get to the video. So let's see here. We're going to take this off there. All right.
You know, I got a lot of people asking me now, how you gonna go from writing books to writing movies, and now you doing music? And I'm like, I've been doing this. Y'all just didn't know about it. And a lot of y'all must have forgot where I'm from. So I guess I gotta remind y'all that Philadelphia soul is international.
I came from the bottom to the top. I won't stop, no matter what they keep telling me. I try to survive. You can't let no one tell you what to do. It's on you to make sure that you do what you do. When you get it to you, gotta stand up and go show what you got. Whether these haters will love you or not, you can't stop. We gotta show this world our genius boys and girls, and we won't let non-believers ever stop us from our rise. It's international soul. West Philly got soul, South Philly got soul, North Philly got soul, uptown got soul, downtown got soul, Philadelphia soul is international. It don't matter how long it takes to do your thing. It could be in the summer, fall, winter, or spring. Hold tight and never let go of your dreams. Just remember we all came from kings and queens. What would this world be without our black gold? That's like music without our Philly soul. We gotta show this world our genius boys and girls, and we won't let non-believers ever stop us from our rise. It's international soul. West Philly got soul, South Philly got soul, North Philly got soul, North Philly got soul, downtown got soul, Philadelphia soul is international.
Hey yo, from aunts and uncles, always knew I had that Philly in me. Pops born and raised on the west of that pretty city. From Ishkabibbles and the Eagles, it's a law that the bell ring loud through Independence Hall. A city full of soul, you can hear it in the art. Made a love run deep like veins through the heart. Broad street through the center, from the bottom to the top. It don't matter where you headed, long as Philly's where you start.
It's international soul. West Philly got soul, South Philly got soul, North Philly got soul.
Yeah, I didn't want to take up too much of the time, but that video was definitely slamming. Them girls could blow, and so could the young man that was rapping. So I'm going to just introduce to some. Pull his picture up here. Let's see here. Let's get it together here. We're going to pull him up there. All right. I should have that prepped. So we want to introduce you guys to no other than this man right here, Mr. Omar Tyree.
All right, I'm in the
Tyree,
joint.
how you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm in Philadelphia now. I've been here all week, man. I'm at the Courtyard Marriott, chilling up here on City Line Avenue.
Oh,
So I can do the interview.
cool.
Yeah, so I had to stop in here to, get settled so I can do the interviews. I was running around and I said, "Oh, we got the interview today," so I had to go ahead and get stationary. Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate it. Like I was telling you before the interview, we focus on the youth.
Yeah.
And we wanna let the people know, what it is that you had to do to achieve success. But before we get into that, we're gonna take a look at this word success for a minute. So let's pull this up right quick there.
You going to define it? There you go. The
Yeah, right
success,
there.
accomplishment of an aim or purpose. Okay.
Right. So that's what we want the youth to have.
Right.
We want these guys to have a purpose, because you need a purpose even to have an aim or a goal. Because if you
Yeah.
ain't got no purpose, you ain't even going towards the aim of the goal.
Yeah.
So let's look at this definition for hood there.
Yeah.
Coming up in the hood.
You starting off with the definitions out so they know the words, what they mean. That's important.
That's right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You can take that one.
A neighborhood, especially in an urban neighborhood, inhabited predominantly by African Americans of low social economic status, it's hard for these kids to break the cycle of poverty and get out of the hood. Yeah.
So how does that resonate with you?
Well, my mother got me out of the hood because I moved from the bottom of West Philly to Mount Airy, and that's after
Mm-hmm.
being in Winfield. So I was already out of the hood. But if I had stayed in the bottom of West Philly on 38th and Aspen, what that song said, I came from the bottom to the top. If I
Right.
had still been in the bottom, I don't know, man. Sometimes you got to be pulled out of the hood sometimes, so, but the way my mother was an overachiever, and she created an overachiever because I still could have got stuck in Mount Airy. It's not just because you in Mount Airy don't mean, you can end up with a successful life with goals and the whole thing. I think I was always goal oriented because my mother did that. But if you don't have a parent or uncle or father or a coach or somebody, you have to set your own goals. So what do you want to do next year? What do you want to do in 3 years, in 5 years? Now, some guys, when they hear that, they blow that off and they don't have any ideas. But it's always important to have short-term goals, medium goals, and long-term goals. So you just start with the short-term goal. Next year, I want to graduate from high school and get a trade, which means I want to
Mm-hmm.
learn how to do something where I can make my money. So you got to start with small goals. I want to make the football team. I want to score 8 touchdowns. You got to start with small goals. And whenever you have small goals that you're aiming for, you can stay focused. And Will Smith did a whole movie called Focus because that's what happens, man. When you don't have a goal, you don't have focus. So now you're sitting on the corner with nothing to do. You don't know where you got no time to be anywhere. You're not looking at the clock. You're not thinking about what you have to do. And so if you're living like that, you have no purpose, as you said. So you always got to have a purpose by setting a goal to say, this is what I want to achieve tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, this summer. You always got to have something in front of you. As the Bible says, you show me a man without vision, and you will show me a man who will soon perish. So you got to have vision of where you're going. And I've always had vision. As a writer, that's what you do. You're writing things so people can see. and understand. And so I'm an expert at having vision, and I always got vision. I'm 55 years old on April the 15th, and I still
Mm-hmm.
got goals, and I still got vision, and I still got drive. So you can quit after a certain time and just go home and drink beers and watch TV. Nah, I still got goals. So it's perfect to talk to me right now to, relay that to young kids because they think you're going to get old and retire. Retirement is not a part of my vocabulary, dude.
Right, I
Bring
feel
it
you.
up for other people. You got to stay busy. And so that's the best thing. Always have short term, long term, and you can start with this week. What do I want to do this week? On Friday, I'm going to the movies to see Godzilla and King Kong because they've been advertising that Joker for like the whole 3-4 months. And so I
Right.
want to see that. So when you have go just small stuff like that where you know what you're doing, it keeps you focused on a drive to get that done. And so just simple stuff like that. I'm going to the movies on Friday. And then go ahead and start aiming at stuff. That's how easy it is.
Now listen, tell us about your childhood coming up.
Well, I was the oldest of the next generation. My mother was the oldest of 8, and my father was the oldest of 4. So that put me right in the middle of a whole lot of aunts and uncles who weren't that much older than me. And so I was a young wise man in the sense that I was always around older people. And so I always sucked up a lot of information. And that's where a lot of my stories came from. And then my family was athletic, particularly my uncles. And so I grew up playing football and basketball and running and all that kind of stuff. And then boxing, too, was part of the Philadelphia community. So I was always active physically. And then I started joining the football team. And once I did that, you got to go to practice. You got games on Saturdays. You work on your body out. You got other guys you're playing with. You got coaches who, you have discipline and rules. And then, so you want to play football every year. So playing sports is another thing. It keeps you focused. You got to have something. So every day at 5:30 or whatever time we had to be at the football field with our equipment after doing our homework, or you do the homework when you get back home. And so I always had a design as to what I needed to do each and every day, man. And that's how my childhood was. I was always actively doing something. You rarely found me just sitting around. I'm a hyperactive kid. You got to give this dude something to do. And so parents out there, you got to give your kids something to do. Keep them active. They got plenty of energy. Keep them active. Do not let them sit around playing video games and on their cell phones
That's right.
all day. Get them out the house doing things active at the community center, whatever it is. Get them a small job, picking up trash or something. Because as soon as you stay active, you're used to it. You're used to activity. So right now, brother, I'm 55 years old and I'm still active and still hyper.
Hey, listen. What was the neighborhood like when you was coming up, and then what was the likelihood for success back then?
Man, the bottom is rough, man. 38th and Aspen, the block is gone now. It's like we had a whole block of like, I would say like 20 houses. You go there now, man, it's about 7 houses left. And then they built some new complex right in the middle of the block. And so it's just different. Now they got trees and grass and leaves growing where we used to have people. So I'm like, wow, that's different. But that was a rough area, man. So my drive is just like, and I'm unbreakable because of that area. So when you grow up in the bottom, man, a lot of times you have people saying, you can't do this, you can't do that. I'm like, you out your mind, man. I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to do. And so the drive that I have from that neighborhood is unbreakable, man. I'm still doing stuff. And so, yeah, the neighborhood made a tough individual that's not going to get distracted by stuff. But again, you got to be focused on what you want to do. But nobody can break me because I came from an unbreakable neighborhood. So there's some strong parts of coming from the hood, but you got to be able to use those strong points to your advantage. And I use that strong point by letting nobody stop me from doing what I would do. Just like you're a hard-headed kid from the hood, now be hard-headed about what the things you want to do positively, and you're
Right.
hard-headed. Omar's not going to stop. He's from the bottom. He's hard-headed. You can't stop him from doing. And so if you want to do something positive and you hard-headed like that, they can't stop you, brother. So that's what I'm doing now. The neighborhood prepared me for that, to have the tenacity and the drive and the toughness and the commitment to keep going no matter what. I'm not stopping. So that's what the bottom did for me, man.
Hey, I feel you on that. I'm 48 myself, And I came up in Tasker Projects. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with that.
South Philly, yeah, Tasker. Every time I say that word Tasker, you like, oh, Tasker.
It was rough, man. I mean, I tell my kids, like, you guys wake up in the morning, going to school, and ain't nobody out on the steps or anything to your left or your right. To my right, it was always this guy passed out drunk, Mr.
Yeah,
Peewee. And I was so used to seeing that guy there when he wasn't there, I thought it was something wrong. You
yeah,
know, and when you coming up in a impoverished environment, you don't know what you might run into. I was talking
yeah.
to a
You
young man
watch,
yesterday from
yeah,
Kensington and Allegheny. He said he became so institutionalized to the area that just seeing the people around there like that was just normal. But
yeah.
I don't want to. I don't want these kids just to think that like this is what it is.
Well,
This
we
is what life is
travel.
all about.
I'm glad you brought that up. When I played football, we had a yellow, them school buses that we jump on, and sometimes we had parents that would take us. But typically, the school bus, you had to pay like an extra $2. So everybody paid $2 for the school bus, and we got to travel around the city. And so I got to see South Philly because we played the Capitola Cowboys, and they had blacks and Italians on the team. We played
Hmm.
Temple Church in North Philly. We went up to Frankfurt. We played the West Philadelphia Road Runners. So and I was up in Mount Airy, so I played for the West Oak Lane Wildcats. We played the Ivy Hill Saints up in Wadsworth in Mount Airy. So we were always traveling around the city and seeing different things, seeing different people, seeing different areas. And so I always got a chance to get out of the area, and that was important because there's a big world out there. You ain't just in small Philadelphia. So you want to be able to see a whole lot of things. Take your kids around different areas, get them away so they can understand, wow, it's a big world out here. And so I got a chance to do that from playing football.
I took like I do Uber like early in the morning. So like this ride was about, I don't know, let's just say 7 o'clock. I picked this lady up from the neighbor yard. It was like a 30-minute ride or whatever like that. So we went to Narrabeth, Pennsylvania. And I'm not familiar with the area. I might have seen it, like on 76 or 309. And so we get like within houses of where she live at. So I said, well, the thing say the navigation say turn right here. And she said, no, it's keep going.
Yeah,
So we passed one mailbox. And she said, I'm the mailbox right here.
right.
Doc, we drove up to this gate. She said, well, go closer, honey, because the gate gonna open up.
Yeah,
So the gate opened up.
yeah,
Sheesh. We drove up this little winding road. And how the streets is in South Philly. Like it was almost about a block. Probably
yeah,
might been like a quarter less than that. So another gate opened up. No, was it another gate? Yeah, it was. Another gate opened up. And then we went into her the little area where she had the garage and everything. Yeah, she had 2-car garage.
yeah,
The garage, the building for the garage, it was the actual building for the garage set on the side of the house. She got out, went her entrance. I left back out. Coming back down that winding road, she had a path to a pond. And then there was something else going on the other side. This lady was a nurse practitioner.
yeah,
So going down, I seen on the mailbox it said, well, I don't want to give her last name out. So let's say it said like Parker MD.
yeah,
So I was like, well, I know this lady knows she ain't no doctor, so she must be married to a doctor. Man, the house, the house was so long, and that's why the navigation said it's right here, because that's where it stopped at.
yeah. Yeah, so the navigation wasn't gonna go inside the gate and inside the house. You off the track on navigation.
Right, because that's just
Yeah,
how wide the house is. And I
yeah,
was like, Miss, I ain't gonna lie to you. The type of work that I do and the type of kids that I deal with, some of
yeah,
these kids will never see this.
yeah,
And I'm just going up a winding road. You
yeah,
know what I mean? That's why, I brought you on so you can give your blueprint to this success. So
Yeah,
now in this society of injustice,
yeah.
in your opinion, what would be the best options that somebody could take to achieve success?
Well, you gotta want it first. That's number one. And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm very individualistic, which sometimes it can get you into trouble because people, they want you to be part of the group all the time. But you gotta have your own goals. All your friends ain't gonna want to do the same thing you want to do. So are you gonna not do what you want to do because your friends don't want to do it? So that was the first thing I was able to separate when I wanted to do something specific. I gotta separate and say, y'all don't want to go, I'm going by myself. And that's a problem that we have in the hood. If the hood don't want to go to the movies, I ain't going to the movies. If the hood don't want to go to the mall, we ain't going to the mall. If the hood don't want to play football, we ain't going to play football. You got to stop that, dude. You got to do what you want to do that's individually positive, regardless of whether they're going to tease you or not. Because a lot of kids, they back away. Oh, man, they teasing me. Oh, that's corny. So I'm going to go hang out with them, even though you want to do it. And so that's the first thing I had, man. When I moved individually, from the bottom of West Philly to Mount Airy, when I got there, nobody could stop me from doing what I wanted to do. So if you didn't have money to go to the movies, you ain't want to go, I'm going by myself. If you don't want to play football, I'm going to practice by myself. If you don't want to go downtown to the gallery, I'm going down there by myself. Now, a lot of these kids say, I can't go by myself. I'm going to get in trouble. They're going to try to fight me. Look, dude, then don't go in neighborhoods. Like, go somewhere else. Why are you going to the neighborhood? The movies ain't in somebody's neighborhood. Gallery ain't in somebody's neighborhood. When you playing football, you going to the playground. So these kids got to stop thinking about, being fearful of some other dude and go do what you need to do, man.
Right.
And so that's what stops a whole lot of kids. They always trying to take the group with them. They trying to be cool all the time with 20 dudes. You ain't going to be cool with 20 dudes. If they don't want to do that, then do your own thing. Funny thing happens when you become that way. They start expecting it. And so what happened was my friends knew Omar wants to do that. He going to do that. We can't stop it. Omar. So once they get used to it, now they don't bother you anymore. Then they start
Right.
joining in. Yo, I'm going to go to the movies with you this time, man, because we ain't doing nothing. Yo, I'm going to go to
Right.
that party with you, man, because we ain't doing nothing. You know
That's
what? I'm going
right.
to play football with you, man, because we ain't doing nothing. But if you sitting there allowing them to dictate what you do all day, then you're not going to do anything either. So that's the first thing you got to do. Use your individual discretion to say, this is what I want to do, because that's what's going to end up happening. You're going to have your own car, your own house, your own wife, your own children. So you got to learn how to be individualistic when you need to. I'm not saying
Right.
that you don't have friends. I got plenty of friends. But when I need to do what I need to do, I'm going to say, yo, dude, I'll check y'all later. I catch y'all 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever, or I see y'all tomorrow. I'm going to do what I got to do. And that's what these kids have to learn. Stop that groupie stuff and do what you need to do as an individual person.
That's profound. And I remember my mom, our task, and she would always say, be a leader, don't be a follower. And
Yeah,
it's so true because, like you said, some people won't move from a bad situation because they don't want to look bad in
yeah,
front of the group or the
yeah,
other people talk about them. But
yeah,
like you said, I tell these people, man, I tell these kids, I'm like, look, you gotta have a goal. You
yeah,
gotta have something to aim for. And if you ain't got that, then you ain't gonna really have no purpose. It's like if I picked you up right now in the Uber car and you ain't setting no destination, we just going for a ride.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Ride around in
saying?
circles. Yeah.
Right. So
Paying
these
me for
kids,
circles. Yeah,
right. So these kids have to learn to be a leader and to be more motivated to seek the things that's going to better benefit them. And it's
yeah,
hard when you're in an organization that wants the best for you, and you turn on the TV and you hear these and you see these atrocities happening with you.
yeah,
And sometimes outside of the inner city, some people will think, well, that's the kids in the inner city, but it's not
yeah,
all the kids in the inner city.
yeah,
You know what I mean? We got individuals like yourself that came up and became like a author. You're
yeah,
the movie. They got this music out there.
Yeah, we got guys that work for the city. We got guys that work for
Right.
schools. We got guys, you know what I mean? We got everybody grew up. You know, they didn't all move out the hood, but you know, the ones that were still there, they did the things they needed to do. I still got a whole lot of friends down in the bottom. I went down there. We had the YGS football day over the summer. I went down there, man. It was like 30 old heads that was older than me, and I was a young buck in there. They was all in their 60s and 70s. And I'm
Right.
taking pictures with them chilling, and we all old heads from the bottom. And it felt good, man, because we know where we came from, and we still here, we still alive, and we can talk about it. So everybody ain't dying, you know what I mean? Everybody ain't, you know, in atrocities and whatnot. People survive it, and then you come back and say, we survived this, and we want to let the kids know this is how you get out of here. This is how you do what you need to do. But it all has, like you said, it starts with what do you individually need to do in your individual life to make sure you make them things happen, man. It ain't about the group. You know, it's about you, you know.
But I think that a lot of the stuff that you mentioned is coming from the house. Like your
Yeah,
parents and it, you instilling it. And then on the other side, it's also the individualism to where as though the person just has to be motivated and they want to go beyond, the norm. There's so many norms in society that have these kids and the parents so
yeah,
locked in to just specific things,
yeah,
and sometimes it's hard to go from that because if that's all you know, that's all you know.
yeah.
If the saying with they say you can't
Let
tell
me, let
these
me tell you
kids no.
something. Let me tell you
Go ahead.
something, man. I got a friend right now that he always, and we had an argument about a month ago because he kept trying to say, man, you not normal, man. Normal people do this, normal people. And I kept telling him, I said, look, dude, stop trying to group me with all the other people you hang out with. My name is Omar Tyree. I'm doing are their names Omar Tyree? Do they have my story? Are they doing? So stop trying to group me into what normal people do. I'm doing what I want to do, man. You got to stop thinking that way. And he's 54 years old, 1 year behind me. And I'm like, you got to stop that, man. Stop trying to group me with people. I'm me. You got to learn to be you. I don't care what everybody else is doing. If this is what I want to do, that's what I'm going to do. And every person has to understand that. You was born into this world by yourself. You're going to go out by yourself. So be yourself, man. Stop trying to be normal. Normal means nothing to me, man. Be exceptional. Be what you want to be.
That's
Make
right.
people talk about you and being something different, man. Not just trying to be one of the group. You just one of 80 people. I'm not trying to be that. So I had to tell my friend that just a month ago, and we grown men, and he's still trying to, you ain't normal. This ain't normal. I said, dude, I have never been normal. You have never known me to be normal. I've always done my own thing that was different. I've been
Right.
different. I'm comfortable being different. That's why I'm me now. I'm different. So
Mm-hmm.
stop trying to make me like everybody else.
And I wanted to comment on use the term old head.
Yeah,
It's used commonly, but the way society is going now, it's now probably about to be a rarity. Like something rare that you see. You know what I mean? Because of
yeah.
like
Well, I still use that term because we grew up with OG, but I'm like, I'm not
right,
from the West Coast. We said old here. This Philadelphia said old here. I'm not saying OG. Don't call me on. I'm not from California. That's their language. Our language is old heads and young bucks. So I'm gonna keep
right,
using our language. And that's what you have to learn how to be individually you. I'm a Philadelphian, proud of it. West Philadelphia. Right now, you look at that going, Will Smith's Instagram tag, he still says a kid from West Philly. No matter how
right,
big he got, he says, I'm a kid from West Philly. So you never get rid of it. You be who you are, man. Just accept it. Don't try to copying what everybody else is doing. Be you. I still got a Philly haircut. I just came out the barbershop right now. He said, my barber said, you want a fade? I said, yeah, I'm going to get a fade till I'm dead. They're going to put me in the graveyard with a fade, and I still got my hair, so I'm going to keep it growing. You know what I mean? Like, this is
right,
Philadelphia, man. So yeah, you got to learn to be you and accept it and be cool with it, man. You're old head. That's what I am now. I'm 55 years old. I'm not going to be
right,
no young boy again. Now I'm young to Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff because they older than me. So I'm a young
right,
buck for them. But for all these guys that you work with, I'm the old head. And if I walk in, I'm going to say, yeah, I'm the old head. And I'm going to say that because that's how we grew up.
right. And what I'm saying is I just want that term to continue on because
Yeah.
at the rate that these youth is going, it's going to be they
There ain't
dying
going
the
to be
same
no head.
time as
There
the
ain't going to be
old.
no
Yeah,
head.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I want these kids just to realize, like, hey, man, I mean, like you said, you could be the next garbage man, you could be the next
Yeah.
lawyer, you the next
Yeah.
president, but give yourself a chance to be that. And you can't
Yeah.
follow these group of people because you just trying to hang. Like I tried to follow them same group of people, when I was younger. It ain't doing me no benefit. You know what I mean? Because now I'm in school
Yeah.
now. I thank God for that. I graduated in May,
Yeah.
getting this master's degree in psychology, but
Oh, that's
you
beautiful.
know,
That's
I
beautiful.
appreciate
That's my favorite subject. It's my favorite subject. I got an A in psychology at University of Pittsburgh. I went to Pittsburgh. I was the only black student that got an A. And they was like, "You got an A in psychology?" I was like, "Yo, I'm into the mental, man. I'm into the
Right,
stories because when I write stories, you got to understand what you're writing about. And if I'm writing about humans, I need to understand the humans I'm writing about." And so now I've written 30-something books all about humans. You got to know those humans to write those many books about humans. So yeah, psychology, man, that's perfect, man. I love psychology. I still got my psychology book from back 1987 in Pittsburgh. 30-something years, I still got that book in my shelf, man. Big old fat. It's a pink looking book, like pink and purple. And I still got
right.
it from 1987 because I love psychology that much. Yeah, that's a good major.
Now we got this segment on here called Facebook Pictures. So I'm gonna pull this picture up and you just let us know what's happening.
Oh man, that's when I'm sitting with my little cousins. My uncle Mac, he got two little baby girls, and then my cousin Dominique, she had those two little baby girls, and we were on a boat. We were going to the Caribbean, and they just loved being around me because they loved my spirit. And my spirit was just pure and straightforward. So they just wanted to hang around me all the time. My two little cousins. That's cool, man. They just love being around me. So we took a picture together, and that's beautiful. We was on that boat maybe 3 years ago.
Okay, cool. What are those two young ladies up to today?
Yeah, they in Delaware. They moved down to Delaware, so they moved out of West Philly. And I got to go ahead and catch up with them today because I haven't seen them in a minute. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get a few people that separate. So now that you brought that up, I might have to call my cousin today and say, hey, let me come down here and visit y'all, while I'm still up here in Philly. So yeah, you didn't link me back, but that was my two little cousins, and they thought I was so cool because I'm an old dude that still got swag, and they think
Right.
like you're supposed to lose your swag when you get old, and they were like, how come he's so cool? How come? And they just wanted to hang around me, So and so yeah, they both from like 8 and 6 years old, and they just wanted to hang around me, so we took a picture together.
Now, when I brought you excuse me, I brought you on, I mentioned you got this mural at 52nd and Market. Can you
Yeah.
give us the backdrop on that story?
Well, that corner right there, they used to have a store called Geno's where it had chicken and steaks and hamburgers and all that. Geno's went out of business, but that corner had Geno's right there. And so to be on that Geno's corner, that's the most popular corner of that area because everybody went to Geno's to get some food and whatnot. So to see my mural right there on the most popular corner that I used to be at with my mom, you know what I mean? My mom was in that area. And so that was beautiful. And then I had a cousin that lived right around the corner from there. So 52nd Street, that's been there for a good 10 years now. And I just surprised that nobody did no graffiti or nothing on it. You know what I mean? That's how I see it. It's still clean.
Yeah, I'm
So I'm like, yeah,
surprised too.
nobody did no graffiti on it. Yeah, so I'm always happy that. But yeah, that was the corner for Geno's. So every time I look at it, I was like, that's the Geno's corner because that's what we grew up with. So all the old heads that know Geno's, they remember like, yeah, we had another one on City Line Avenue, 54th and City Line Avenue, that now it's
Right.
like an apartment building. But we had the Geno's right there too. So every time I see that corner where my murals are, the first thing I think about, that's the Geno's corner. Yep.
What do y'all do like anything annual, in regards to the mural going up? Like do y'all go past, take pictures, or do you sell your
No,
books
they
out
just
there?
grabbed that. I guess they grabbed, like a picture off my website. They did it themselves. The city did that. And then people started calling me like, yo, man, they got a mural of you. And then I came down and saw it. So that they did that on their own, So,
Oh, you ain't even
West
know what was going
Philadelphia,
on there.
I didn't. West Philadelphia did that on their own to honor me. And it's a beautiful blessing, man, because I think that's the hottest corner of all the murals. They got Will
Right.
Smith down at 46th Street 46 never had the amount of traffic that you got at 52nd. You know that. And so
Right.
52nd is the hottest. That's the hottest traffic street, and that's the hottest traffic corner, and they got me right there. So I'm like, they got me in a hot spot right there, baby. I love it.
I thought, because I know it's Patti LaBelle right there, and I thought I seen
Yeah.
somebody else down there. I don't even know, but like you said, that traffic
I
right
think
there, because you got the bus stop.
Harold Melvin. I think Harold Melvin is on one of them corners. Harold Melvin, so they got like, but they got all those Philadelphians on there. But yeah, that
Right.
corner I'm on, Patti LaBelle's on the other side. But again, Geno's had more traffic right where I'm at than the Patti LaBelle side. Yeah.
Have you ever had a chance to meet Patti?
She has a house in Mount Airy. I never met her, but she has a house in Mount Airy that was right around the corner from where I live. They got a Germantown football field where they used to play the Germantown and King football games for Thanksgiving. And she has a house that's right across the street. And everybody would say, that's Patti LaBelle's house. I don't think she was ever there. But she wouldn't let everybody know when she was there because it's right there. You're right in front of you, like a ranch house, right in front of you. But, people always say, that's Patti LaBelle's house. But I never met her in person yet. No.
Okay, cool. So, all right. So with the book culture, you see a lot of these books coming out. I don't want to say it's out of the culture, but it's more. I would probably say like Zane or whatever like that, or like the authors coming up.
Well, we got a lot of books, man. We got a lot of books. Zane came out late. When I was out there, we had B.B. Moore Campbell was from Philadelphia. She graduated from Howard. She's a journalist. Used to write for Essence Magazine. She wrote books. Terry McMillan came out. Then you got your guys. I had Evelyn Harris. We had Eric Jerome Dickey. Walter Mosley was writing books. I was the baby back then, writing about more young urban stuff as Omar, Tyree. I inspired a whole lot of younger writers. Terry Wood.
His audio froze up. Oh, there you go.
Okay, you can't.
Yeah, you freezing up a little bit.
Everything out, and we were all writing about different topics. So now it's years later. Zane didn't come out until the 2000s, so she wasn't even in the picture yet. And then when she came out, she started writing a lot of books about sexuality and that kind of stuff. But we had already been writing about a hell of a lot of other issues that just wasn't sexuality. So I don't want it to be pinpointed on Zane. We had a lot of writers that wrote a lot of great content about science fiction, fantasy, fiction, history, the urban culture, a whole lot of different styles of books. So, we got a lot of different writers. You got to go in the library and look up a whole bunch of books and ask a whole bunch of bookstores. Hakim's bookstore is right there on 52nd Street. You walk in there and you ask about all the different types of books that we had came out since the 90s. Shahrazad Ali blew the market open with her book, The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. So we had a whole lot of books. And then, of course, we had Toni Morrison and Alice Walker with her Colors Purple. So we had a whole lot of content, man, that was out there doing that thing. I was the baby of the bunch, and I inspired a whole lot of younger writers to get in there and write their stories. And I got a new book coming out called Control, because there's a lot of things in life that we don't control, but you got to control yourself and how you respond to them. And so that book is coming out. And in the video you put on, I got all that videos, music, books at hotlavaentertainment.com. You can spell that correctly. Hot Lava, Lava, entertainment, all spelled correctly.com. And you can see all my work, all the movies I'm working on, and all the content that I put out over the years. But we had a whole lot of authors that started in the 1990s. I call that the golden era of new black authorship. And I was the baby of the bunch back then. Now I'm an old head, like 30 years later.
Hey, I appreciate that. Now I had, I went to Temple and I had the experience of, being taught by Dr. Malefica Asante.
Malefica Keita. I interviewed him with my first book. I interviewed him. It was another brother at Howard named Ronald Walters. I interviewed Leonard Jeffries. I interviewed John Henry Clark. I interviewed Francis Quest Wilson. I interviewed, what's the boy name? So many, Tony Browder. It was so many older people that were doing great work. And I was a journalist in DC. I interviewed a lot of those brothers, man. I was around all of them, and I was the baby in the middle of that. So yeah, all the names you bring up, I've been around them, interviewed them, and sucked up wisdom and knowledge from them. So yeah, I knew Malik
Dr.
Nikita Sante. Yeah,
Dr.
at
Asante,
Temple,
man,
I went there and interviewed him. Yeah.
he came to our first youth conference, and man, we had you familiar with Ladiva Davis?
No, I'm not familiar with her.
Yeah, she's a dance icon of Philadelphia. She used to have this TV show on Channel 12.
Okay.
Her dad got a mural somewhere. I forget exactly where it's at, but she was at this conference. So Dr. Asante is speaking, and they're about the same age. And she was like, I don't even remember the stuff that he was talking about. Because he was talking about in regards to like Africana studies, like Black history. Man, it blew everybody in the room away. Like Dr. Asante is like just so powerful in regards to, you know, the knowledge that he has. It was phenomenal. You know, I interviewed him. It was phenomenal. So, you know, just to have the privilege to be around somebody like that was extraordinary.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and I'm doing it again,
Sonia
you know, with yourself.
Sonia Sanchez was at Temple during that period too. You know what I mean? She's another Philadelphia poet from back in the day. I've been around Nikki Giovanni. You know what I mean? I've been around all of them, man. It's been beautiful. And I was a baby. I was 20 something years old around all them old heads that were doing great work. You know, so now I'm the old head. I got to continue that by doing the great work that I plan to keep doing.
But definitely keep us posted on your new book. We'll try to get some of them because we normally just buy like literature and you know, pass it out to the public because we want these people to have, you know, a sense of their culture and excuse me, you know, things.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, I got an event at the Philadelphia Free Library. You want to mark this down, let everybody know. May the 24th is a Friday night where I'm going to be talking about control, a Q&A, and we're talking about mental health because the book Control is all about mental health and how we can keep it together in situations that we don't control. You know, how do you keep your mentality together? How do you keep your emotions together? How do you stop yourself from doing, you know, ridiculous things? And so on May the 24th, Friday night at the Free Library of Philadelphia from 7 to 9, we're going to have it on lockdown. We're trying to have 500 people in the auditorium in there. So we want to rock and roll with that. That's set the 24th, Friday night, May 24th, the Free Library. That's at 19th and Vine, downtown, right across from the Ben Franklin Museum. Yeah, so we're going to be there on the 24th, 7 to 9 p.m., and we want to pack out. So bring your whole crew in there so they can hear how I get down with the podium and the books and talk to my people.
Well, sir, I'm gonna link up with you after this, get all that information, and, you know, we can put together a flyer for you if you ain't got one.
Good deal.
You know, to help promote the event. You know what I mean? So we definitely about that.
Good deal.
But definitely, I want to thank you for your time. Hey, man, it was a pleasure speaking with you. You know, you were an abundance of wisdom, and you know, you definitely kept it real. So I definitely appreciate that. Love you too, man. Appreciate it. All right, enjoy your evening, sir.
Thank you.
All right, take care. That was Mr. Omar Tyree. Let me tell you something. Like I was telling him, I grew up in Tasker Projects. So to have a conversation with Omar Tyree, Dr. Asante, Dan Duster. Dan Duster is the great grandson of Ida B. Wells. I'm sorry. It's a pleasure. And I don't take their time lightly because, you know, they got things to do. But for them just to want to share their experience on here so I can give you guys the wisdom that they're sharing with me, you know, so it can advance on in you guys' lives, is definitely a treat. And I'm very appreciative of it. We definitely don't want to forget about our youth. We got let me see here. So we got this college focus group coming up here. So please don't forget about this. Mark your calendars. Excuse me. August 15th, the Talented 10th. That's one of the programs at the Ethel Lee Zachary Foundation College Focus Group. The topics will include high school prep, financial aid, school selection, studying abroad, and college life. The individuals that I have placed on there are phenomenal students. One of them goes to, well, the one in the middle, that's my daughter. She goes to George Mason. Jada Smith, she's a professional basketball player overseas. And Mr. AJ Evans, he is a Howard University freshman. They all have phenomenal backgrounds. They're all familiar with the inner city, and they're just waiting to share this information with you in regards to college life. If you know me, I'm a big fanatic on the importance of college. Now, don't get me wrong, ain't nothing wrong with trade school. You know, if you want to be a carpenter or engineer, knock yourself out. You know, if you want to be a lawyer or a doctor, then you got to go that path too. You know, knock yourself out. But whatever you be something. And like my mom said, whatever you be, whether it's a trash truck driver or a bank robber, I wouldn't promote you being a bank robber, but you be the best that you can be. And those words ring in my ears today still, because I just want these kids to have the best opportunities that they can out here. And like I told Mr. Tyree, I mean, I'm not going to front. I never was really like familiar with his book. I mean, with his work. And, you know, I'm just familiar with the mural of 52nd Street. I heard of Fly Girl before, but I never knew he wrote it. And for him to come on and share that wisdom with us was phenomenal. You know, we've had some interesting people on here. You know, we had Cindy Bass, Dr. Asante, Dan Duster. We had the pastor from Victory Christian Center, Dr. Jimmy A. Ellis. We've had Dr. Nicola Mitchell. Excuse me. And, you know, we just had Omar Tyree. And let me just try to set the record straight. I'm not picking these people because of their names. I'm picking these people because of the story that they could tell. You know what I mean? Because we got other people that ain't famous. You know, they come on here and then they give out some valuable information. So it's not about the recognition of a name. And I'm not going to lie, when I first started this, excuse me, I thought that having a big popularity or famous people on here would draw more of an attention. But it didn't work too well. So I have to stick with what the mission of this organization is. And that's promoting the ethnicity and education for the people in the inner city, so they can see the opportunities that's out there and take advantage of them. And that's all I want, for you guys to see these advantages, better your lives, you know, if needed, because everybody in the city ain't bad or, you know, struggling. Better your lives so your kids' lives can be better. Like I just was telling Mr. Tyree, I'm 48 years old, and I'm in a master's program at the University of Phoenix for psychology. Now, I'm doing it for two reasons. The number one reason is to better those young ladies' lives right there behind me. The number two reason is, like he said, to understand the mind of the people that I'm dealing with. I ain't trying to understand your mind so I can manipulate you or whatever like that, so I can be better understanding of where you coming from. If you're a bad parent, I want to know why you're a bad parent, so I can tell you why if you don't know. You know, if you are a student that's struggling in school, you know, maybe something going on at the house. You know what I mean? So it's a variety of things that could happen or be happening. So I'm appreciative to the people that come on here, and I want to thank all of them. I want to thank the people that have given donations to the foundation, the Ethel Lee Zachary Foundation. I want to thank, you know, my family, definitely my mom. You know, without her inspiration, I don't know what I would have called it. You know what I mean? Maybe it would have been the Goal for Success Foundation or whatever like that. But the name is what it is because she put a spark in me to make me want to be something in life. And it kind of caught on, a little slow. Everybody's spark, the wick might be real long. So you got to wait for it to get to the dynamite. I especially want to thank, one of my board members, Derek Wallace. He started this whole thing off with his suggestion in regards to helping youth in photography. We didn't get to that aspect yet, or that element of the program yet, because the kids are too busy picking up guns to be even too interested in picking up a camera. And you got to catch them early, excuse me, in life to target their interest. Because if you catch them kind of late, sometimes they may be institutionalized to the hood and it may be too late. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. It's always a pleasure. Let me make sure I ain't forgetting nothing. I told you I need somebody to do this here. Oh yeah, this is our Scholar of the Month. If you know an individual or a student that's active in that community and or does an extracurricular activity and has a GPA of 2.8, that's just a B or higher, email us at elzfnd@outlook.com. They could be our next Scholar of the Month. Well, that is definitely it for me today. I love you guys. I know sometimes I'm a little hard in regards to this parenting and education, but that's where it's at. I was telling somebody yesterday that, when we have immigrants come over or foreigners come over from like Africa, China, India, the phrase college is not for everybody, that's not even an option because it's for them. The parents make sure it's for them because they see the benefits of success, and that's what they want for their children. Now, don't get me wrong. You can be successful with a high school diploma, but the percentages of that is like 10% or less. You can be successful at a trade school. I don't know the percentages of that, but listen to what I'm telling you. And pay attention when you go to the doctor's office. Because the last I checked, there's a lot of foreigners floating around in them hospital floors, and they're not nurses. You understand? So you guys have a wonderful evening. God bless, and good night.